Welcome to Carol and Gary's See America Tour.
Hello again, everyone. In April 1861, at the beginning of the Civil War, this was roughly the shape of the state of Virginia. But when Virginia voted to secede from the United States, the people of the rugged and mountainous western region of the state opposed the decision and decided to organize and form their own state in support of the Union. On June 20, 1863, Congress granted statehood to the newly created state of West Virginia. So as you may have guessed, Carol, Jasper, and I are now in West Virginia. West Virginia is the 35th state that we have visited together. And by coincidence, West Virginia became the 35th state in the Union. Our first stop in West Virginia was Parkersburg, where we visited Fort Borman Park. Fort Borman Park was the site of a Civil War fort built on a hilltop overlooking the scenic valley formed by the Little Kanawha and Ohio rivers at Parkersburg below. Built by Union troops to protect the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Terminal and other key commercial river facilities in the valley, Fort Borman was named for West Virginia's first governor, Arthur Borman. These are two bridges that connect West Virginia to Ohio as seen from Fort Borman Park. Parkersburg has been devastated by several floods over the years, the worst happening in March 1913. Normal water level is considered to be 20 feet. The March 1913 floodwaters reached a staggering level of almost 59 feet. Much of the downtown area was more than 20 feet underwater. In January 1937, another flood struck Parkersburg as water levels reached just over 55 feet. Following this flood, the city decided to construct a 62-foot tall wall to protect the residents and businesses from future destruction. Under the direction of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, work began in 1946 and was completed in 1950. While at Fort Borman Park, we also saw the Valley Gem paddle wheeler pass by. The Valley Gem provides tours up and down the Ohio River. Here I am flying back into Fort Borman Park with a drone. Notice how the leaves are starting to change color. Before refrigeration, salting was the main way to preserve food, and the Kanawha River Valley had huge underground salt deposits. The 169-mile-long Little Kanawha River flows north through West Virginia into the Ohio River at Parkersburg. The Union's capture of West Virginia salt mines was a huge blow to the Confederacy, who desperately needed salt to preserve meat for Southern troops. The oil and gas industries that came to be in West Virginia were a product of the state's salt industry. In 1859, the Rathbone brothers of Parkersburg bought land 30 miles southeast of Parkersburg so they could search for salt. What they found instead was a deep well of petroleum. The surprised brothers were disappointed, but at the same time intrigued with their findings and dug a second well. The Rathbones' wells produced more than 1,400 barrels of oil per day that year. Large quantities of oil were floated down the Little Kanawha River in barrels to Parkersburg and then shipped to other cities across the country. This sparked a stampede of individuals looking to get rich quick with what was termed black gold. By 1860, additional oil wells were discovered a short distance from Parkersburg in the town of Volcano. A pipeline made of hollowed-out 6-inch diameter wooden logs was built from Volcano to Parkersburg. These oil wells proved to be active for more than a decade. Wood County, which is where Parkersburg is located, quickly became a leading oil market. The city of Parkersburg and Wood County benefited greatly from the prosperous gas and oil industries. But why here? An anticline is an example of rocks which were previously flat but have been bent into an arch by earth forces. Oil and gas from source rock such as shale find their way up into a reservoir rock layer such as sandstone, but get trapped by an impermeable cap rock above, usually limestone. The reservoir rock becomes saturated with oil and natural gas. On Monday, October 5th, Carol, Jasper, and I drove 97 miles from Parkersburg, West Virginia, to Philippi, West Virginia. We came to Philippi to see the oldest and longest covered bridge in West Virginia. The 285-foot-long, 26-foot-wide, two-lane bridge crosses the Tygart Valley River. The bridge was built in 1852. It is the only two-lane covered bridge in the entire federal highway system. Unfortunately, for safety reasons, you can't walk across the covered bridge, but in 1990 a walkway was added on the outside of the bridge to facilitate pedestrians. During the Civil War, the bridge served both north and south with the passage of troops and supplies across the mountains into Virginia. Several times during the Civil War, the bridge narrowly missed the fate of other wooden structures that were burned. This is a view of the Tygart Valley River, upstream a short distance from the covered bridge. After the covered bridge, we visited the nearby Audra State Park, which sits along the Middle Fork River. Audra State Park is a small state park, but we came looking for fall colors. When we didn't see much color, we decided to walk along the river. On Wednesday, October 7th, we drove 65 miles from Philippi, West Virginia to Cass, West Virginia, but Cass, West Virginia is on the east side of the Allegheny Mountains, so this was a slow, narrow two-lane highway as we crossed the mountains. We would have no cell service during our 4-day stay in Cass. We came to Cass, West Virginia with an elevation of 2,443 feet to ride one of the Cass Scenic Railroad steam engines to Bald Knob. At an altitude of 4,843 feet, Bald Knob is the highest summit of Back Allegheny Mountain and is the third highest point in West Virginia. The Allegheny Mountain Range is part of the vast Appalachian Mountain Range of the eastern United States. The Cass Scenic Railroad has refurbished and modified 100-year-old flat cars once used to haul logs to haul visitors to the top of Bald Knob off Back Allegheny Mountain. Pulling our train was a Shay steam engine. Shay No. 2 is a Pacific Coast Shay, constructed in 1928 for the Mayo Lumber Company of Pauldie, Vancouver Island, British Columbia. A Pacific Coast Shay is a souped-up model of a Class C70 three-truck Shay. Shay number 2 started out as a wood burner, was converted to oil, and then rebuilt here in Cass, West Virginia to burn coal. Our 11-mile trip from Cass up to Bald Knob took about 2 hours. As we worked our way up the mountain, we came to what's known as a switchback. A train can't make a sharp turn like a car, so what they do is pass the point where they want to turn, flip a switch on the tracks, then back up the hill to another turn point where they again flip another switch on the tracks, then proceed on their way. Panoramic views of the Appalachians became more beautiful as the train climbed. When we arrived at Bald Knob, we were given 35 minutes to look around before heading back down the mountain. There was a large raised platform from which we could see for miles. Several picnic tables were available if you wanted to sit and eat, but most everyone ate their hobo lunch on the way up. On the way back down, train employees called brakemen manually applied brakes to the passenger cars to help slow our descent. And with that, I'm going to close out this video and get it uploaded. We have one more day here in Cass before continuing south, but it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so the Wi-Fi won't be reliable. If you like this video but have not yet subscribed, please do so to be notified of future videos, and as always, feel free to share with your friends. Thanks for watching.